Hi, I'm RJ Game News USA, and today I want to review a horror movie, or at least go over the review scores for said horror movie. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about Undertone. We're going to look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores for Undertone. It's got an 86% overall, and we're going to go over what some of these reviewers are saying. But first, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And let's jump right into it. So 86% overall is extremely good, especially for a horror movie. That probably is going to convince me for sure to go see this movie. But let's see what some of the reviewers are saying, and let's see if you're convinced as well. Neil Pond, with a fresh tomato, says dares you to come along for a hell-palooza dive into deep dish delirium. A place of demons and death rattles, with a guarantee that you'll never hear London Bridge or Ba Ba Black Sheep the same way again. Gregory Newson, with a fresh tomato, says a film which makes extraordinary use of negative space, not just auditory but visual, begging viewers to scan every frame for any possible indication of threat or lurking evil. Undertone works best when gnawing at nagging expectations. Yeah, so I'm going to say this. A lot of my fear from any horror movie comes from anticipation of something happening more than when something actually happens. And I feel as though this movie, if you're really bought in, is going to keep me on edge and could keep you on edge as well. I've never been big into let's fuck with people's audio, but I don't know. Sounds good so far. We have another fresh tomato from Lee McCoy saying Undertone takes its time, but boy is the payoff worth it. The viewer is constantly searching for the scares, almost sure that they will present themselves, and hearing the terror quite often. You got to pay attention in this movie, that's for sure. How about a Rotten Tomato from Brian Orndorff saying sound is basically all Undertone has. Unable to cook up a more dynamic haunting to follow as everything in the movie goes crash, bang, boom. That is a good point. How about a Rotten Tomato from Avi Offer, who says an atmospheric slice of psychological horror with creepy sound design and stylish cinematography, but it's repetitive without enough palpable scares or imagination. In a double feature with Blowout, it would have been the inferior B movie. The movie's only an hour and 25 minutes. Sounds like it would... sounds like, gets it? It would be best to listen to it and watch it in theaters, because of the special effects, with the audio sounds and whatnot. I mean, you would have to have a really good home theater setup, really, to get the most out of this. So that's why it could be a good theater movie. Wal Kari, with a fresh tomato, says this is perhaps the first time in my life I've heard an audience scream out loud while the screen remained completely silent. Few horror movies are this sensory. Frankly, it's one of the most inventive horror films in years. Katie Rife, with a fresh tomato, says in this way Undertone is the perfect horror film for our era, one in which superstition and technology not only coexist but feed one another. Jeff Ewing, with a fresh tomato, says it's an unusual but innovative approach to terror that excels largely because of spectacular sound design, careful narrative construction, and a strong performance from the lead, Nina Curry, an immersive, haunting horror outing you can't miss. I'm sure, yeah, she really has to do a good job for this movie to do good. Tessa Smith, with a fresh tomato, says experience A24's most terrifying film yet. Undertone works because of Nina Keen's haunting performance and the movie's immersive sound design. Well, no shit on the sound design, right? But the A24's most terrifying film, I don't know about that. Guys, it's a little bit of a stretch, don't you think? A fresh tomato from Mr. Chambers, we'll say, who says Undertone weaponizes sound, silence, and paranoia to pull viewers into a haunting audio mystery. Amanda the Jedi with a fresh tomato says, plain and simple, this movie is pure evil, a perfect blend of religious folk and internet horror. Alright, interesting. We have a fresh tomato from Derek Murray, who says, Undertone is the scariest movie you will ever hear. Viscerally overloading your eardrums with haunts that are sure to keep you up at night and evoke a physical reaction when you hear it again. Wow, man, you're talking about some perma damage here, right? I don't know, my ears might not be able to take it. I went to too many rock concerts. We have another fresh tomato that says, Ian Townsend's Undertone is a fine-tuned audio horror excellence. That review is kind of useless. Brian Talcarico, with a fresh tomato, says some will argue that all the themes of Undertone don't connect, but that's a feature, not a bug. This is a film that doesn't feel the need to explain itself. Nightmares rarely do. Okay, I have an issue with that. If I walk away from this movie feeling I wasn't satisfied with the plot or satisfied with answers, I'm not going to like that. I'm not going to like that. I don't like ambiguous stuff. It's to me, it's very cowardly. Matt Oates, with a fresh tomato, says a masterfully assembled nightmare of all-encompassing horror. Ian Tuscan's Undertone is an immersive as it is bone-chilling, featuring truly elite sound design. Taylor Williams, with a fresh tomato, says throughout Undertone, Ian Tunson delights in employing sound to eerily suggestive ends. That is like the most basic fucking bare-ass bones AI one-sentence review I've ever heard. And they pay for that at Slant Magazine? Perry Nemiroff, with a fresh tomato, says remarkably unsettling, the first movie to keep me up at night since Paranormal Activity. Okay. So Paranormal Activity, I understand at the time why people were scared. That movie kind of sucks when you look back on it, right? Kind of like the Blair Witch Project. Now, I'm wondering if Undertone is going to feel good at first, and then when you look back on it years later, it just sucks, right? Or it's the start of a bunch of audio-style movies, like the found footage movies were. Ross Bonamine, with a fresh tomato, says, with Undertone, Tussin has created one of the few horror films that's even more horrifying to hear than it is what you see. No shit, Sherlock. What gave you that clue? Zachary Lee, with a fresh tomato, says Ian Townsend and his crew know that whatever you can imagine is probably scarier than anything that's explicitly put on screen. All he has to do is provide a catalyst for the viewer to muse on something unsettling, which Undertone has in spades. Yeah, that's about what I think is going to drive me bananas in this movie, why I'm going to enjoy it. Sounds like it's going to be a one-time watch for me, though. It's not a movie you're going to go back to. There's no replayability to this, in my opinion. Just like the Blair Witch Project. There's no replayability because you're on the edge of your seat to see what happens the whole way through, and once you do, there's no reason to go back. To be fair, I don't rewatch a bunch of movies anyway. The stuff I rewatch is stuff I really, really enjoy. Benjamin Lee, with the Rotten Tomato, says it's not that total originality is expected at the particular moment, but given the genre's overcrowd, it's hard to see what pushes Undertone above the noise. I mean, to me it seems a little different. To me it seems like there's a little more to it. I mean, what is this? I mean, to me, the premise sounds even better than A Quiet Place, where you're supposed to be quiet, right? I don't know. I think my impressions of this is I mostly feel positive about it. I'm happy the runtime's not too bad. And I think I want to give this one a chance. With the 86% of Rotten Tomatoes, what the reviewers were saying, I'm going to give it a chance. I don't think it could be a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't think that's possible for a movie that I don't feel is going to have replayability. And then, on top of that, I am a little concerned about what was alluded to possibly be an ambiguous plot, which also will bother me. But I have a feeling the experience of watching it is going to be unique, and it's going to be interesting and keep me scared, possibly. So I'm going to give it a shot, guys. If I have a wildly crazier take than an 8 out of 10 or something, I'll follow up on this. Other than that, I'm going to go watch this at some point soon. So until next time, this is RJ signing out. Have a good one, and leave your thoughts in the comments below if you're going to go see Undertone. And if you do, let me know what you thought about it. But until next time, see ya.